complete shame. What are we gonna do? Well, let's do a quick one, people. We gotta keep clicking and typing over, maybe some typing, mostly clicking over there. Excuse the coffee. Need something to keep going while we're moving stuff around. Let's do some shilling. dtcomputers.online, that is the website, constantly under construction. Yeah. Constantly under construction, and we do have a In Need of Revival podcast. Oh, where is it? DTPC podcast. We haven't published anything since March. I mainly do my podcast on the other website I'm about to show you. I do want to revive it. I just don't know what format. That's what the main holdup is. Finding a format for this one that is not the same general conversation-based podcast like the Antisocial Experience podcast. So that is the website for that. We have the homepage. Still haven't done any more work on it since the last time, but I do like the shilling aspect of it, throwing it out there. And there's a contact form. I need to get some information about the store up there for if people visit this and want to call in, other than sending in an email. We have had a few contacts through email though. Work in progress. Other than that, the website I'm working on for myself, and I just added these back. They were there, and for some reason they disappeared. The social media links. You got my Facebook, my YouTube, my personal Twitter, Instagram, Twitter for the podcast, and the RSS feed for the podcast. If you click on that with a mobile device, it should open up. Want to open in a podcast app? I'm not sure. Anyhow, welcome back. It's going to be a quick one today. Like I said, clicking over there, minimal typing. Other than that, we're going to take a look at this unit real quick. So let's go to the above cam. This glorious unit here. We're going to tear it down real quick and get the hard drive out of it. This was actually, I believe it's a throwaway. I don't know what the issue would be with it. What's the zoom in look like? Yeah, we don't have much for the zoom in, so we'll go with the above cam. A throwaway, however, the person whose it is wants their data. So let's retrieve their data quick and hopefully disassemble and reassemble in a few minutes. This is what gave me the idea for actually tonight's After Hours live stream, was if you're nervous or never fixed anything, or you don't want to tear apart your expensive device, I mean, you can always get help with it later. If you broke something, well then I suppose you're going to be responsible for paying for and fixing what you broke. But if you take your time, and I know not everybody is technically inclined, but if you take your time, you can usually not break something. Just be careful when opening stuff up, pulling apart, as there is sometimes fragile ribbon cables in there. But yeah, very minimal screws to get this apart, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen these before, never tore one apart. I did see one in stores a few years back. This is not a computer that we have had serviced. And I do want to point out, I don't know who and how they're doing this, but this is illegal right here. You are not supposed to print out a Windows product key, whether you're a refurbisher or not. If you're doing it the proper way and buying a copy of Windows, buying that product key, you will get an actual, let me see if I have, let me take this off and I'll see if I have one on a side panel that is here. I know where there should be one. No, and it's not there, not there. What about on this masterpiece? Not there. Well, it doesn't look like that. They look like, I don't know, what do they look like? Do we have one in here, I wonder? That is the software. Do we have the key? Okay. You will get a disc, and then you could get a letter. It will come on retail packaging, and when you buy computers, they will come with that. However, Windows 8 and the Windows 10 computers, I know somebody could steal that key. Windows 7, they're dropping support for it. That's for refurb PCs. The actual Microsoft product keys don't look like that. They have a different color scheme. This one is for testing, so it's pretty much been burnt. But yeah, that is not legal. That's not a legit product key. So I don't know who's doing that. I don't know if it's local or if this computer was bought online, who it was bought through. I've never seen that. I mean, I've seen it, but I know it's not legal. That's not, when we get product keys, that's not how we get them. Moving on. If my assumptions or presumptions are correct, I saw these in stores, and anytime I see computers, just with the general interest in tech and that, I always look at them like, how easy would that come apart? I've never had one of these apart. We did take the stand off. Okay, check. Those 4 screws there, the bigger, I think those are M3, I don't know, I'm not checking the size. Took those 4 out, took the stand off, and then 3 across the bottom. This should slide apart somehow. Yes, okay, and minimal work to take apart. That's what I thought it would make for a quick stream. Now, not everything would be this easy to tear apart. This is a newer computer. The older they are, usually the more in-depth and complex it is. I remember being ready to pull my hair out with some of the older Lenovo, the IBM, not Lenovo, IBM ThinkPads. They were dang dreadful to tear apart. So, let's get this hard drive out. And where can we go? We'll go right. Go right for the time being. One screw? Really? That's not a challenge. Alright, and then to get access to the dock, we need to pull these. There's another thing I can speak of. I will go ahead and speech it right concerning this matter, if I can get my hands on it. When you have these little adapters that go to the Seagate hard drives, they will power a 2.5-inch hard drive. However, when you're concerning yourself, even though they fit on, they will not power a 3.5-inch. There's just not enough power. Even coming through USB 3, there's some USB 2 ones that will look more like, where did that guy go? Well, not that. I don't know where the USB 2 one is. We have one floating around here. There it is. So you got your older USB mini type B, maybe. It is that type connector. A little bigger than a cell phone. That will also power a 2.5-inch hard drive, and if it's an older drive, you're going to obviously need an IDE connector. However, even though it's USB 3 and there's more power in this one than USB 2, still not going to power it. You do need either a dock or a SATA only connector, SATA to USB, and then a SATA power wire. There's many ways to power these, point being, but you need separate power. The little adapters, yeah, they will not do it. So go ahead, get these few screws out, get the data off this, and we're going to throw it back together after we get the data, and hopefully we'll do a stream tomorrow and fix this while we're doing some other stuff. But I thought this may be interesting. Never tore one of these apart. Gave me the whole idea for if somebody else has never tore anything apart or been nervous to. I mean, you can't go in with a hammer swinging around going nuts, you know, but you can take some time, take precaution, tear stuff apart, even if you've never done it. It is fairly simple. So where do we go? Alright, we can go here. I'm not going to stay on frame, obviously. I got to bounce around. And plugging in a hard drive while streaming, I don't know how that's going to work. Well, I guess, like anything goes, we will give it a shot. We'll see. Can we plug in a hard drive while the stream is going to the same computer, I might add. Plug a hard drive in while streaming. I don't know what Windows Explorer has to do with OBS other than maybe some of the files for your scenes and stuff. But let's do it. I'll go ahead and plug that in. Plugged in, power the dock on, and we'll go back to above. Alright, dock is over here, off frame, off screen. You can't see it. Okay, let's go back to the screen. So we did get, this did give us, we got the system reserved partition and then the actual Windows partition, which is not C because it is an external. So we have some users, default, owner, public, woo, temp, admin. Excuse me. So in this case, we're going to probably get the owner. The default migrated means it did have a different Windows on, I believe. 7, 8, 8.1, and it has been upgraded. Or possibly 7 been upgraded to 8 or 8.1. I'm not sure if 10 is the only one that does that or not. Alright, we will move that over out of the way. We don't need to mess with system reserved when we do that. Now I need to look for a backup, or my tools. Let's get that. Let's get, where is it? We will get that one. We will get, a little lost. I don't have them here. I need a flash drive. Okay, well, open this back up at the very minimum. Okay, going to this. I'm not throwing it back together yet. We will get the backup running on that. We're going to do some minimal clicking over here while I think about where I have tools at. Possibly here, but I don't know. I am actually out of USB ports, so I have to wait for that until after I end this, so I can unplug at least the camera and then plug in my flash drive. Unless I have it elsewhere on the hard drive, which I don't know. I can take a moment and look. I'm not sure. Maybe. Oh, I do have it. I have a backup, so I can run the software. Maybe. Where is it? This is freely available software. You can buy it. I do know that much. And anytime you are running, any kind of software, such as this one, you would want to run it as admin. You want admin rights. That, like backup software. Now, if you already have the program installed, you usually don't need to, but I'm talking specifically about the EXEs that you would run the EXE. It runs directly from where that file is stored or from the folder that EXE is stored within. Those ones are the one you want to run as admin. A good example would be ADW Cleaner is one. What else? What other stuff? ADW Cleaner, like if you've ever used Combo Fix, we'll say that when you install Malwarebytes, you can install it as admin. CCleaner is a popular one. Defraggler, Arkill. I could keep naming them all night, but yeah, we don't. Oh, that's my reminder to get my stuff and go. It's funny. The night light turned on, where it shifts the color of your monitor. The night light comes on and takes a lot of the blue light out of it. So let's talk about the backup tool I'm about to show you and use. This is called, it's auto backup. there are much newer versions. We bought a newer version. I have a free version here that is freely available. Fab's auto backup for tech. This should be freely available unless they have not released anymore. I can throw a link after the fact into the live stream. When you get, let's go to the screen so you can see this. When you get into the program, you want to find the hard drive that you plugged in, and I think this one was, okay, system reserved was F, local disk G would actually be C if this was booted up in the machine, but it's not, so we want G to do the backup, and this will grab the person's data. So there goes G. This is a handy program. It gets your stuff for you without, you can manually drag and drop it over. However, when you do this, sometimes something will cause an error with the program. It is always good to do a one-to-one verification. So we have G, we have the user owner. That is the only one that showed up as an actual user profile. And then let's select a place to store this. We will store it on the desktop. We'll make a new folder, and we're going to call this backup. We don't know the name of the person. I don't, at least. We're going to call it Acer AIO for all-in-one. Call it whatever you want. If you happen to be doing this, that's where we're going to back up to. Backup in subfolder. Next, you will get some options here. You want to make sure you're getting your documents, your pictures, music, videos, anything else. You can actually click up through and see what all is going to back up. Check all is a good practice. Then you have your common tab. You don't have to go to common. You could say next, and it goes there for you. You see that? Next is the launch tab. See what you're getting. Another good thing when you're doing, check it here, or you can check it on the previous tab, the common, and scroll down. See that you are grabbing your product keys. If that is not checked, there's possibly, it's just not checked by default for the, I don't know, whatever reason. It could be because the program is missing some antiviruses and ADW. I'm not sure, not saying ADW cleaner, but like Windows Defender. Other antivirus programs, maybe Avast, AVG, some of the free ones will see this program as spyware, malware, something. It'll see it as a threat and remove it from the auto backup folder. So there's that. That's what you're going to want to use, or make sure that is checked. You can verify that it's checked on this page. It will say right here, common product keys. But if you don't have that, then you do need to go back and make sure it is checked. But we did have it, so let's go ahead to the launch tab and click launch. This will do its thing. It will compile a list of files to backup. After that, it pops the window up and starts backing up the data. You have an actual figure for the amount of data that it is going to back up, and it will run down through that and give you errors. We could sit and watch that, but let's move on to something else. I have a few more minutes and I have to go pick up dinner. Alright, we can do some clicking. Where are we going to do clicking at? We'll do the clicking over here and see what's up, what's what, real quick. Does anybody, what is the time zone? What is the time zone difference from Pacific time to Eastern time? Is it 3 hours? I would think it's 3. I'm not sure though, not entirely sure. And I don't know if anybody has noticed or not, but it is much, much quieter without that AC rain, and we've been having a crazy rain for, I'm gonna guess like maybe 24 hours. Maybe it slowed down and stopped a little, but it's flooded out everywhere by our local SPCA and prison. Funny enough, some people would call that a pet prison, but no, they're two different places, the prison and the SPCA. I went through there yesterday for the driving job delivering, and there was a small road, or a small river going across the road, like almost 2 feet deep. And I went back later that night about 8:30, 8:45, and it was closer to 4 feet deep. from 322 on back to where the railroad tracks are. For anybody familiar, it was a river of water flowing across the road. I had to physically drive out around down 53 to like 9th Street intersection, up Troy Hill, and get to their house that way. What a mess. So, alright, we have our data backing up. Let's jump back over to that for a moment. You can see here that we have roughly, I don't know when it started. It was right around 2 gigs when I caught notice of it, 1.9 something. Backing up, running through it. After this finishes, we are going to go ahead and pull the hard drive out of the dock, back into its housing here, back into the computer, reassemble, and get out of here. This will not take long. We are running on a USB 3 dock. Whenever you're messing with bigger amounts of data, I'm going to say 10, 20 gigabytes and on, you can use the USB 2.0 connection if you want. It's going to take a while to transfer or copy or move that data. USB 3 much faster, much faster. The world's the difference from USB 1 to 2 was faster, and it's an even bigger difference from 2 to 3, I think. Now USB 2 to USB-C, USB 2 compared to SATA read-write, they're different, a lot different, kind of like USB 2 to 3, but yeah, I prefer USB 3, USB-C. Sadly, I don't have any M.2 drives or external USB-C drives. Not yet, I will soon. Alright, let's do a status check here. Okay, so I don't have the sound notification on. However, our program did finish. Backup job is finished. Now you can check here for warnings and errors. 0 warnings, 0 errors. Just to do a secondary check, we're going to scroll up through and work our way back down through. We see no red exclamation points, yellow, no color other than blue. So everything is good with that backup job. Unless this person that owned this computer here stored data in some, who knows, you know, on the root of C drive, or not on the root of C drive, but C drive, and then within some folder that program does not check in, well then we would not get that data. It gets it in all the common spots: desktop, downloads, documents, pictures, videos, all the common stuff where stuff is downloaded to by file type. Okay. Well, let's see if we can pull this drive and get it back in and reassemble, and then we are going to kill the stream, and tomorrow we will try, that will go like that. Okay, tomorrow we will see what the deal is with this. This was a throwaway. They wanted their data, so we got their data. We got to ask the man what the name of this person is, and then we can see what is wrong with this. We will try and diagnose it and fix it, or maybe it's, I have no clue. I haven't even attempted to boot this thing. Is it virused out? Did it get hit by lightning? Maybe it's trash. Is there something else wrong with it? Motherboard, something heat related, a bad ROM keeping it, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll diagnose it tomorrow, and we are going to try and do a few streams this week. It's been a little lackluster, I know I say it, but I really want to do a few streams a week. Alright, you're being a good hard drive, going together with little issues. So, I do encourage you. Yes, could you bring your computer and devices here, or to your tech person, and you know, whoever in the family, the person that knows computers, knows tech, or your nephew, your grandson. Yeah, you could probably go with them. You could bring it here, take it wherever you want. There's other businesses and stores that fix that stuff. Or maybe you're not into it, but sometimes it really is a simple fix. Go ahead and tear it apart yourself. Just use caution, go slow. If you have to, when you're tearing it apart manually, if you take a screw out, if you take one out, set it down in that location around your work area. Just when you're working, don't move whatever you're working on around to where you bang the screws all around. Alright, we have those hard drive screws back in, successfully mounted. Let's throw it back into the system. I usually have good memory with screws, and I'm going to say tonight is no different. My old brain has not malfunctioned enough to the point where I'm forgetting stuff all the time. Only sometimes, mind you. Only sometimes. My wife would probably say different. She would know, though. She lives with me. Silver screw goes back in there. I at least remember that much. We got four screws for the leg after we get the back on, and then 3 screws for the bottom, across the bottom here. Let's go ahead and get the back on. Alright. Okay, so mission almost accomplished with the data. Now, put this back together and leg on. Diagnosis tomorrow. Ooh, 8 o'clock. I do need to be home. I want to catch my favorite weekly live stream. And I did get permission, at least from one of the team members, to play their live stream. I guess it would be a live stream of theirs if I happen to be live streaming. But that wouldn't be very good for bandwidth to play a live stream while I am streaming. But to play back their shows or maybe their podcast from another device while I am doing a stream, sure. I did get permission from them, and I want to throw this out there for anybody that hasn't checked it out. They do some debates on some, I don't want to say hot button topics, but they do some good debating. And obviously with any debate you have, you got the black and the white, left, right, up, down, whatever. You have the opposing sides. There's always, the two sides to the coin. And the live stream that I'm talking about, and after the live stream, obviously it's just a video, is the Non Sequitur Show. Kyle Curtis, Steve or Steven, I'm not sure, Steve McRae. And they have many guests on. Godless Engineer, I forget his girlfriend or fiance's name, but she is on often. They have Red's Rhetoric, another good YouTuber. He is, one of the people opposing Flat Earth and making videos to debunk all that crap that comes online. Non Sequitur Show, check it out. There's some good debates on there. Replacing Darwin, Kent Hovind, who is the anti-dinosaur, young Earth creationist, all kind of stuff. Go check it out. The Non Sequitur Show on YouTube. Tune back in tomorrow, and we're going to take this thing and see what's the deal. Time to go pick up dinner. Alright, and last but not least, the USB dongle for either the keyboard or mouse into the USB 2 port, not the 3. We'll save 3 for if this thing works. Alright, people. As always, thank you for watching. Tune in tomorrow and we'll see what we can make of this thing. Will it fire up? We don't know. We're going to find that out tomorrow. I would like to schedule a time. Unfortunately, I don't have a solid time. It's not going to be after hours. It will be open hours. So check anywhere from noon until 3 is when I want to fire that one up. Thank you for watching, and I will see you then.